Welcome, everybody, to the Epic Transformers podcast. My name is Maverick McMonagle, and I am a courageous trans man interviewing other trans and non binary folks with different skills and abilities. I am super excited to share with you these amazing and talented individuals with you all. We have folks who are health coaches, hypnotherapists, tattoo artists, clay home builders, environmentalists, creatives, artists, entrepreneurs, flute makers, interior designers, and more. So stay tuned and thank you so much for listening to the Epic Transformers podcast. The cloud. That always scares me.
All right.
Okay. Okay. Let's warm up our hands. How about to start? And we can kind of just start to feel comfortable going inward so we can close our eyes if that feels good. Let's take like 3 to 5 cleansing breaths together, in through our nose, out through our mouth. Whatever capacity you have at the moment. If they're little gentle ones or big deep ones, that's totally fine. Allowing ourselves to feel the ground beneath our feet. And the chairs that we're sitting on. Moving that energy up into our chest and feeling our stomachs and our solar plexus start to be filled with that beautiful bright white light. Helping us to feel safe in our expression today, to be confident in ourselves, and allowing that energy to now fill up our heart chakras and spaces to expand and really connect to our hearts in this moment. Next, we'll just go all the way up to the crowns of our heads. We'll go through that throat chakra that often feels like sticky or stuck. Let's allow that space to be open and free today to express any types of sounds that want to come through, allowing for our true authentic expressions of our souls to come through in this transmission today. And just a few more, we'll go up to that third eye chakra, just asking that our deepest desires for our visions come true in this space and in all spaces moving forward. And then we'll go up to the crown and just open both of our crowns up to shine brightly, to be seen. And you can keep your eyes closed for the rest of it. I'm going to kind of go, back down to the lower chakras that I didn't talk about with the drum. We'll just allow some of this vibration to come through. Feeling this deep within our root chakra, our sacral chakra. Feeling connected to Mother Earth at this time. She's supporting us. I can feel her so strongly right now. Imagine we have the strongest of tree roots going down into the earth, and our bark is so strong and resilient. It's so tough that when you try to grab it with your hands, nothing flakes off. It can weather any storm. it stands tall and strong. In a moment, I'll have you come back into this space. Just take a moment here to just feel. You can start to warm up the body, feeling the toes and the fingers wake up, allowing your legs and your arms to have feeling in the room, feeling the air and the temperature around you, feeling so good, so relaxed, so ready, so excited and alive. And whenever you're ready to open your eyes and come back to this space, please do.
Well, that was great. Thank you.
Of course.
What kind of drum is that?
That's a really good question.
Okay.
I feel like it is a shamanic drum of some sort. I'm not hand drum. I'm kind of blanking if there's like a actual name for it, but I got it in Sedona, and what I like about it, it's a buffalo drum, but it's actually made out of recycled tires.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's good for the environment, as well as it like weathers really well in different temperatures, because buffalo skin will like contract and expand if it's super cold or super hot. So it travels really well too, which is nice.
Awesome. That's great. It was like a real, I could feel that. That was great.
Yeah, yeah. It's just such a powerful drum, and I take it with me everywhere. It's like kind of my little friend, and I don't know how musically inclined you are, but I feel like when you get an instrument and you start to play it, it is like you're activating its own like aliveness. You're getting a relationship with it as well. So it kind of like, there's something that even gets stronger as you play it more, and you guys become more in tune with each other too.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So it's cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah, do you play any instruments?
I play guitar and a little bit of piano.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cats.
The cats. I feel like, yeah, they like napped with me earlier, and so now they're just like full of energy. And these
Ready to
cats
go.
like to play.
Oh,
I might go put them in the bedroom and just see if they will play in there, and not meow the whole time.
okay. Well, they're not bothering me.
True. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes it's kind of nice to have their presence around too. Like,
yeah.
we can always bring them into the space too at any point if we just need some like, animal love.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
Ready?
I believe so, yes.
All
I
right.
I wrote out my notes, but
Cool.
we'll see how helpful they are.
All right. Sounds good. And yeah, like if at any point too, like you just need to take a minute, we can like pause the recording, we can come back into it, like
Okay,
totally fine with any
great.
any way. But
So,
all right, so we'll just get started here. So I am excited I get to share with you all Elliott Warner, they them pronouns. We met online while we were attending the Southwest Institute of Healing Arts for our hypnotherapy degrees. Elliott needed a student to practice hypnosis with, so I volunteered to do it with them. It was a powerful experience, and I can still remember the meeting I had with Jesus in it. More on that to come. A bit more about Elliott. Elliott is a trans non binary hypnotist from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They live with 2 cats and a ghost cat. I have questions about that. They have many experiences communicating with other worlds through mediumship, dreams, and extraterrestrial encounters. They translate these experiences through art and their hypnosis practice. Their goals are to help others expand their world through hypnosis, explore spirituality through the use of past life regressions, and provide support for people who have experienced extraterrestrial encounters. How
Yes.
does that sound accurate, Elliot?
That sounds pretty accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, I love how, like, in-depth it was, because like, I feel like that's, really good to paint all these different, like, aspects to who you are, and I really
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. I've had a lot of time to like think about that, so it feels very true for me.
For
And
sure.
I appreciate you introducing me. So
Yes, thank you so much for being here. So yeah, let's just take a moment. Like, how are you doing today? Like, before we really jump into any big questions.
I'm doing pretty great. Yeah, it's cold in my area, but apart from that, pretty good.
All
What
right.
about you?
Staying warm inside? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in Denver and we haven't had any snow yet. So
Oh,
it was like beautiful sunshine weather today. And I was out there like shirtless at one point because I was
nice.
just like soaking up that sunshine.
Yeah, I'm ready for that weather.
Yes. Come on over to Colorado before it snows.
All right.
Okay, so that is good news. And so I just wanted to share too. I feel like there's something really divine about this happening the way that it is. You are technically the first podcaster.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so congratulations for being the
Thank
first
you.
one. Um, uh, I feel like when I really started to tap into like divine timing was actually when my dad was passing away. And I realized that like when he was in the hospital, like there would be certain people around and I had these conscious thoughts of, well, that person can't be here. The vibration of these people being in my dad's space for this period of his life passing away, it just doesn't make sense to me. For some reason I felt that like a guttural sense in my being. And so it was interesting that actual time that he passed, it was me, my sister, my grandma, and my aunt, and then
Okay.
really nice nurse that he actually really liked. So it felt very like divine. Like looking back at it all, it's like you don't know how it's going to pan out, but at the same time, it always happens the way it's meant to. And for you and I to be meeting here and being on this spiritual path that we have been on, I feel like and how intentional we are in our journeys, I think it's so beautiful to me to have you be the first one on here with me. Like it
Oh,
feels very comforting and I'm just excited to dive deeper because we haven't really spoken in a couple of years. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'm just excited to see how things have transformed in your life and what's been going on for you.
Yeah, and you are actually the first like live hypnosis session I had, so it kind of is
Oh my God,
extra,
amazing.
yeah, extra special coincidences.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, my first question for you is just really kind of like to start us off. Like, what do you feel has made your transformation as a trans and non binary person epic? Like, in your own words, what would you say?
Um, I I don't really the most epic thing about my journey has been all of the change, like unexpected changes, like uh and not knowing where exactly anything was going. I actually had to stop taking testosterone due to like a medical reason and like just one step to another. It just as it all turned out so different than I had expected, but in the best ways. So,
Hmm.
did that answer your question?
I definitely feel like that is a big question. So, I feel like our questions to come will help
Okay.
maybe develop that further.
All right.
Um, if you were to say something about that expectation part just while
Yeah.
we're here, what do you feel worse, did you consciously have expectations, or like can you share a little bit more about what those expectations were and what maybe surprised you a little bit?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of my expectations were body expectations and just letting letting those take form um just really changed how I interacted with my body and like issues with weight have already always been pretty big with me and exploring gender through ways I've never even like would have thought to look up or uh like I don't know. I started with like the name and ended
Hmm.
up like so far away from like where I had initially um thought I was going. It uh finding ways to grow with my body has been really
Yeah,
special, I guess. Yeah,
for sure. I feel like uh the I feel like that's just I think that's a important thing that you share, because I feel like although we have these initial inklings for different things, right? Like the name, or like somewhat of like what we feel like it's going to look like or what it's going to feel like, until you're kind of going through that process and actually experiencing it, do you really start to have those new realizations, because it was more in the mind to begin with, and now bringing it so much closer into your body, it's like that second kind of puberty in a way, where you're having a different relationship with it than maybe the
right,
first time, where most of what your imaginations were from maybe how other people said it was going to be like. And I think for a lot of us as trans folks, we don't have a lot of examples of people like sharing a ton about what it's going to be like, or like everybody's different at the same time. So I feel like it gets very expanded as you go into it too.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is there anything else you want to share about that part?
Um, I mean, I might want to share a little bit about like having to stop testosterone if that would be
Yeah.
um and like how that changed like kind of um how I this is this is not in my notes. Okay. Um I had to stop taking testosterone because it was causing a lot of intracranial pressure and pushing up on my optic nerve. So like letting that go and like letting go of the feelings that came along with that. It really just opened up so many more ways to be myself and um like I kind of got to take what I wanted and leave the rest. So just all over again, I guess. But
Interesting. I
yeah.
feel like we can definitely come back to some of that too,
Yeah.
and maybe get even a little bit clearer. But let's go through a few other questions and see what else sparks through about your journey, because I know this has been a big one. So you kind of touched a little bit on like the beginning part. You said it started with your name, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you share a little bit more about that, like that beginning part of discovering that you're trans and non-binary, how did that come to be for you?
Okay, the beginning part. Well, um, I feel like it started much before that. But like in kindergarten, like the first day on the bus, getting asked like if I was a boy or a girl, and then not knowing what to answer, just kind of uh going back to that feeling and like that's like when I formed an attachment to my name and just like what was going on um when I was a little bit freer to express my gender and curiosity and uh that kind of really came back to me when I was considering changing my name and uh
So the
yeah.
name Elliot came to you like when you were in kindergarten?
Yeah, I used to pretend that was my name all the time
Oh my
during
God,
like imaginary playtime. I don't know. Yeah,
that's super cool.
yeah. So
Do you feel like then was there like a period of your life where it almost like not like you had forgotten that aspect, or was that always kind of there and then there was like something else that happened that you kind of realized actually that's my name. That's not just like something that I'm using for playtime or imagination world or whatever.
yeah, for sure. I remember getting ready for a drag performance, and I just was with my partner at the time, and we were both like playing around, and I remember looking into the camera like on the verge of tears and just being like, this feels so good. And um there was so much like joy and pain behind that look. It was just, I still have the picture and it reminds
Mm,
me of like that first step, I guess. Yeah.
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 Wow. I would definitely love to share that picture if you feel
Okay.
comfortable with that.
I do. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Future Maverick will cut into this and put that little picture there so we can all take a look at that
Uh-oh.
sweet moment in your journey. I love that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I feel like I had somewhat of a plan from what I felt like would kind of flow, but I'm thinking it's kind of interesting. I kind of gonna go back to some of these other questions that I um, uh, kind of shared with you beforehand and see
Okay.
what else comes through. So, um, yeah, I think going forward next, I think if you could share a little bit about like you've already kind of mentioned it, like you started testosterone, then you stopped, and then are you taking it again?
I
Yeah.
am actually taking estrogen now because I had a total hysterectomy and they were worried about like bone density and everything. So
Okay.
yeah,
And-
I'm back on estrogen.
Okay. And that's feeling good. Like I
It
feel like
feels,
that's probably the bigger question in that. Like,
yeah, it feels great. Like there's always like I'm still learning like how to adjust that because the medical condition can present with like estrogen as well. So we're like slowly moving it up, but and it has been causing like change in my body again.
okay.
But uh like with chest growth and just finding ways to embrace those things is different when you kind of uh I don't know, when you get to decide for yourself, I guess. I don't,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was curious about that, like if yeah, like if it's reversing or like in what way it's affecting your body and things like that.
Hmm.
Um, but I think what you said, what I heard at least, is that aspect of that embracing it now, like through, probably seeing things from all different kinds of lenses and then like, you know, kind of asking yourself how it feels for you being in the body that you're in and how it's looking and how it's changing and all those types of things. Um, what would you say are like some other significant points in your journey that like you treasure or you just like you're just never going to forget those moments? Like, can you share a few more of those for you?
Um, yeah, I I guess like a lot of that for me is tied up with like mental health and stuff because I also have challenges in that area. But like when I was learning how to like love myself, just taking care to like move my body and like I have these very special baths that are have been like very helpful for me and just like being in the water, which connects me to nature
Yeah.
and listening to music and like dancing and just finding movement in like yeah, it was definitely grounding, but I just really got in touch with my body and that in those moments and I it's hard to explain. I don't know. Just like I do a lot of like meditation in the bath and rituals and having that really changed a lot for me.
Nice.
All right, there is a spider slowly descending. Startled
Love
me.
that. Just
I was like, stay over there.
yeah, that would be nice. Don't
Mm,
don't come tickle my friend Elliot right now. We don't need that.
thank you.
Okay, great. Let's see. Mm, Ooh, I think this next question is really interesting and um especially because of what you just said too about like meditating a lot and being a spiritual being on a spiritual path. How I don't know exactly how you identify in that way, but in regards to being a trans and non-binary person in this world, right? Like I think coming back to the present moment of where we're at and what has, just what has been going on, but also like more significantly what has happened with the election, and how that has affected your mental health and also just like our community and feeling that like as sensitive creatures, I think we're very aware and in tune with that, right? So I'm curious, like if you could tap into this for a moment and feel free, even Elliot, like if you want to close your eyes and take a moment to really feel this dream world, right?
Yeah.
Bringing the colors and the textures, right? Like you as an artist, I feel like may have I think as artists there are certain mediums, right, that we feel that we can express ourselves the easiest, right? For me, one of those things is probably through painting. But at the same time, I'm very connected to words and the power of the words. And I feel like you are as well. And that's kind of what draws us to like hypnotherapy. And we'll talk more about that.
Mm.
But I feel like you do have an ability to paint pictures with your words. And so if we can kind of like start to put some paintbrush strokes onto the canvas for people to really feel and envision for you if you were to be existing on this planet in a world that felt just, whatever those words are, blissful and, safe, and where you are frolicking, right, in your own essence and those types of things. Like, how would you describe that dream world?
Um, I would describe that dream world as just a feeling of like togetherness and community. Just yeah, just really really able to express like creativity with people who also wanted that, and to be able to share like food and resources and just
Mm,
so many so many good things like are happening behind the scenes that I think um it's something that's possible, but it is scary with all of the current events and uh, election. And but there's also like that spark behind it, I think. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Um, do you feel like at where you're at right now in your life, do you feel like you have or are creating those types of things where you're finding that community where you're able to create art with and share resources with? Or is that, at least for the time being, like where you're at currently, like on the planet in Pennsylvania, do you feel like you're not exactly finding those things? I'm just kind of curious.
Oh, I feel like I'm like growing those things, and um yeah, there's definitely like uh I feel like there is so much potential with that, and like my focus for like what I do is to connect people to whether it's like support or other people in similar experiences, and um, like spiritual resources, and just like it's all kind of community and care, I guess. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think for me, like, I've never been to Pennsylvania, but I remember you saying at the beginning, like, that it's really cold there.
Yeah.
And I think about those things having an impact on our sense of community or actually
Mhm.
being in community with one another, right? Like, when it gets cold, oftentimes people are staying indoors or maybe only seeing the people that they are comfortable with or that they know really well. Um, and maybe aren't as likely to get outside to connect, in nature or go to like a community event, things like
Yeah.
that. And I was just kind of thinking about those things, if you like from your experience living there, if that has any truth to it, or like there are those types of barriers that you see going on. at
Yeah,
all?
there's definitely it's definitely harder like in the colder months to uh speaking from like a mental health perspective, like take care of yourself and um like I've found my community through like going to support groups and just different different events that are geared toward like that care. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are
and
they are
building that.
Yeah, are you in Pennsylvania? Is there like an in-person, like is there a significant like in-person group of like trans and non-binary queer people that you connect with, or are those support groups more like on the interwebs?
Oh, these are in-person groups, and they are largely trans and queer. Uh, they're not specific for that, but I'm always like running into like really good groups of people. Yeah.
Cool. Nice. Um, this is going to be a bit of a tangent, but I feel like going back towards that kind of the spiritual work, right? And like, I feel like this is connected to community because a lot of what you want to be creating are community spaces for this, being able to support people through their spiritual journeys and their practices, right? Um, and so I'm curious about if, like, how did I write this? Has any of your spiritual work uncovered more about your gender identity? And if so, can you share an experience of what happened?
I am going to have to think about that one for a second.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
and that wasn't one I like predisposed, but while I was like getting ready, I was like, huh, that could be kind of interesting because, and
yeah.
if it is helpful, I do have a story to share if you're open to that. And that also might help spark up some memories of things that have happened for you.
Yeah, I would definitely be open to hearing your story. And I do have like some experiences with like past life regression that I hadn't thought through, but I'd love to hear from you.
Sure. Cool. So basically, I'm gonna share this story of basically the first time I went through a past life regression meditation. And so I've always been very drawn to spiritual work, or I don't know if that always, but particularly when I moved to San Diego, I just was pulled towards these different communities and things, oftentimes with like women that were um, spiritual and creating their own businesses to create more freedom, to be able to travel and just be free, not be confined to, the paradigms that have been created by this big patriarchal society. And so from that work, then I found this psychic workshop, and from this first experience, uh, basically she had us like look down. She guided us through to this space and have us look down at our feet and take notice of like what shoes we're wearing, and then kind of like move our attention up of like what we're wearing, where we are, things like that. And so I remember pretty clearly that I was wearing these sandals and I looked up and I had these um, just big muscly legs, and then I was wearing like a kilt of some sort, like kind of a skirt, and then upper body was very like brawny and built, and I felt like I could have been like an ironsmith or something of that sort. But there was this deeper feeling in this experience for me that I felt that while it was normal for me as a man to be wearing this kilt at the time, there was something deeper about how I actually felt about wearing a skirt. Like I felt more on the inside, like I'm a woman, that I like feel more feminine in nature, but in terms of being able to express that very openly in society, I had felt that suppression and not being able to fully, embody and express those types of things. And it was a fairly short experience, but there was a lot to like actually connecting with those feelings, right, of that individual. And then she guided us through to like where we like died in that lifetime. And I remember I was laying down in this room, like in this body, and smelling fire when she asked us that question. And
Oh,
so to me, I felt like I was holding this candle, and we had these houses that were, I don't remember exactly what they were made out of, but like we lit our houses with candles. And so from me getting that vision and then the smell of the fire at the same time
wow.
indicated to me that I had died through a fire in my
Mm,
home.
wow.
And so, yeah, I mean, that was just kind of like this. It didn't necessarily for me like be like a clicking for that I'm trans, but I definitely started to um, I think it started to really crack me open into like how do I actually feel in this body that like I've been told to just kind of accept for what it is, or to just go with whatever it changes into and not question that, there was no room in this time period to really even feel like that would be a possibility. Like, sure, I could, do the I could do the different um, clothing swaps, so to speak, but beyond that, there wasn't. It didn't. It had that same level of like, I feel like I'm not supposed to really embody being a boy or a man, but I can wear the boy clothes or whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's like really powerful. I wish honestly that I had been more in touch with like spiritual uh like practices like that at the time when I was like um really struggling with gender and everything because it's just like so like intense when you are talking to like your subconscious or your higher guides or just like that feeling of like um things really connecting with like you and who you are is it's really something else. And I haven't had it for uh, gender in particular, but I have had it with um, like supernatural experiences and like um, putting that more out there in my life, like with like the hypnosis practice and just like
Yeah,
being really honest and open about that. But if
yeah.
I had known all of this like when I needed it, it would be great.
Well, I am curious, what would you like, what has come through in that regard? Because I have thoughts about in a non-direct way that whole experience between extraterrestrials and our identities here as human
Yeah,
beings, right? Like
yeah,
bodies and how they look. And a lot of extraterrestrials, at least from my understanding, don't always have gender, or they're just more like in the middle, and they're very like open-minded and loving beings.
mhm.
I'm curious to know from your experiences um what have they been like for you?
Yeah, all of my experiences with extraterrestrials has been like very positive and encouraging,
Mm,
and even like the way that I have communicated with them is more of like psychic and just like even like just knowing what what is going on in the situation is just like downloaded, I guess. So it's not there's for me at least, but there was this like particular past life regression I had that had it was like the first time I encountered an extraterrestrial, and it kind of just was like I don't know where I was going with this. I apologize.
no, I'm
Um,
loving it.
yeah, it was just um that overwhelming feeling of like understanding is very warm and like um welcoming, and just being familiar with like what you sorry, this all like evolves through mental health and spirituality, and it's all just like overwhelming and
Mhm.
processing through speech right now. I don't know what's
You know
going
what? I feel like I'm really proud of you for speaking about this. Like I want to just say because like oftentimes I struggle with my mental health as well, and I talk to certain people. I experiment with certain people that I'm comfortable and safe with. I experiment with new therapists. I experiment with like family members, and trying to express the things that I'm feeling in the inside. And oftentimes I'm like met with a lot of like like, oh wow, but not necessarily fully like in the cells of their body, like really understanding it.
right.
And another unique aspect of this is that my first name that I chose and what came to me was Elliot, as
Oh, wow.
I think you knew, or maybe not
Yeah.
know.
I did know. I didn't know it was like the first one that came to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so like every like one of the first times people like heard my name, they would refer me to that movie E.T.
Yeah.
And so I had to like rewatch it again because I liked the movie, but I like forgot. And
Yeah.
it really like resonated for me to be that connected to the alien. And, on some level, that whole image of Elliot dying because they're killing the alien, right? And how connected we are.
Hmm.
Like, I think that that is such a message for our humanity, for our collective conscious, for our collective like mental well-being, right? Like if we're harming or hurting any living creature, whatever they look like or whatever wherever they are in the universe, and how like I think about animals a lot, and I
Hmm.
think about how that affects our own sense of well-being and our mental health and things like that. And so
Right.
I feel like I could be putting words into your mouth on some level, but I feel like there is something special about Elliot's in general and being connected to the ethers. And I feel like that's what's special about us is like bringing home, bringing it to earth, right? This connection between the unseen or the spiritual and our physical bodies, right?
Yes.
And I think that's a huge part of the trans experience is like bringing home, bringing together all of ourselves, to be whole and complete and to
Yeah.
feel that. So,
Yeah, no, that was very well put. Better than what was coming out of my mouth.
Hey, we're here to help each other. Like, that's a big thing about this too. Like, you and I having this conversation, like, it definitely, oh my gosh, these cats, they're throwing the
That's
lights
so
down
great.
on my back right now.
Well, they're what?
They're
Throwing lights out?
Yeah, they literally threw this on my back. Look at them.
I missed
Do you
that.
see
That was
them?
great.
They're,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
hanging out, they think this is like a little play set for them right now.
This is their
Oh, shoot.
time. Yeah. Time to shine.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I was just saying that I feel like the purpose is for our well-being, right? As individuals, but also as like community in the world together. And I think whether you're trans or not trans, I feel like having information coming from like seeing two trans people come together and converse together and share like their stories and have a deeper understanding from.
That was perfect. That was
No, that was not perfect. That was really, really bad, Elliot.
really bad. But it was
Because
like,
what's under that is very delicate, like
oh
equipment,
no. Oh no.
not
I
mine.
thought it was just I
It's
thought it
okay.
was just part of the show.
No, it's okay. I will check on it in a moment. It is
Do
it
you
is
need time to check on it now?
okay.
Okay.
I think it would probably be good. I wonder. Yeah, I'm just gonna pause the record.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
lovely. We're back. Um,
I mean, I feel like untangling like how I lived with uh my mental health and spirituality all came from being able to like express my transness. Like without untangling that, I wouldn't be like here. I wouldn't have like all of the stuff that I have collected from being spiritual and embracing that and navigating like mental health would be impossible. For me, I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's really important, and I feel that yeah, I don't know if people really understand how interconnected it is, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
I hope and I feel like I think there is that shift happening where more and more people, it's like we're not just at a concept, like more and more people are seeing us,
Yeah.
and um, I think that's why uh, I I try to, if I'm not like super visible, like I try to like sometimes I like having something that shows people like, "Hey, yeah, I'm trans in some way,
Yeah.
shape, or form," like on my clothes. Like at least for me, like I feel
Mhm.
like I don't have to like communicate like, "Hey, I'm trans," but like if I have like trans colors on or the rainbow on, like I think that's pretty clear, right?
Right,
Which
right.
I think for some people they think that it might be putting a target on my back on some level, and I think I do think about that sometimes, like
Yeah.
I'm not unaware of those types of dangers, and like I've already gone through a whole process of like going deep into like the hidden realms, and it doesn't feel like, I don't know, there's just like this feeling of not wanting to be afraid, like
Yeah.
you do die. Like I think that's also a part of like going through the hypnosis, is like realizing that like there are many different types of deaths that we go through in life.
Mhm.
And I think that's like to be able to go through those experiences and experience death in a different way, to understand it on a deeper level. So you're not like fearing it and living in that fear all the time. Like, I
Right.
think having those moments kind of helps shift up that relationship to death in some ways.
That that feels very true. Yeah, yeah, that and support, like people going through what you're going through, and
Right.
yeah.
So I think this kind of goes to my next question. I feel like these last 20-ish minutes or something that we're here together, I would like to create some space for you to share a little bit more about that spiritual work, the hypnotherapy or hypnosis, and kind of help with that whole painting the picture of like, what is significant about it? How has it changed your life? Why is it important for people to, you know, get curious about it, to experience it for themselves, and just be open to what could happen if they were to give that a try in their life?
Oh, yeah. I like I had mentioned earlier, I like untangling um what is in my body and what is like going on would have been impossible without like first like thinking about who I am, let alone like what I'm experiencing. Um, just uh,
So let's start
my
with,
mind
I,
went.
I asked a lot of questions. So let's
Yeah,
start
yeah,
like
yeah.
with like basic of, say, how do you describe to somebody who has never heard of hypnotherapy or like has never experienced it? Like, how would you describe that to like literally somebody vacant on that whole concept?
How would I describe hypnosis? I would say it is taking a moment to relax and ask your like everything that everyone has ever put on you to step aside and being actually able to talk to yourself and just like let your subconscious do what it needs to do and like healing like knowing what needs healing, I guess, and knowing um where to start. I I think that especially in like a spiritual sense, like in a magical sense, like um it connects you with things you're not able to reach without a little bit of guidance, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really well put. I think that it is kind of one of those things that is somewhat hard to describe. Like I like that you use the word magic because I think, people hear the word subconscious and they're like, "Oh, the deep dark world. Like, what is that?" Right?
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think that's the beautiful thing of life is that there is this like we can learn things on the surface and then to experience something is very different, right? So that you have a deeper understanding for yourself what that what does that subconscious even look or feel like to you, right? Like how what is that actual tangible relationship to something that's a part of you, right? um so what would you say, like, I'm asking questions that I kind of already know the answers to, but like
Okay.
obviously for other people.
Yeah.
But what would you say are some of the different things that people can utilize hypnosis for?
Um, there are so many things. Um, Hypnosis can be helpful, like interpreting dreams, connecting with guides and spirituality.
I'm also thinking about like in the therapeutic sense of it too.
Right, right. I was trying to bridge the that, but I was like, you can also quit smoking. And
Right.
uh, so yeah, you can. It helps navigate uh, addictive behaviors and habits. My brain is really not working right now.
So good.
Uh, I feel like hypnosis could help with that, but I haven't tried it. So, um, yeah.
Yeah, I think that those are great starting points for people to just like, have a basic understanding, right? Like
Right.
as you get into it, there's other realms you can kind of deepen and, you know, whatever. But you can have a focus, right? Like he was saying, or they were saying about, um, like if you have a habit or like you're addicted to something and you want to kind of like transform
Mhm.
that relationship to those things in your life, you can, start trying this modality, this tool essentially to understand and uncover kind of what are those, things that even drew you to that in the first place. And kind of undercovering those things that we don't always want to look at. I think that's an important part of it
Oh
because it's
yeah, for
like
sure.
we as people, you and I are very open and curious about those things. And I think it's
Mhm.
because we're kind of like, well, we know that if we go into the darkness, we're going to get out into the light at some point because we're going to have all this understanding. Well, some people just look at that dark spot and they're like, fuck that shit.
Right,
Like,
right.
I don't even want to touch that. Like, it's
Yeah.
too hard. I don't care if there's some fucking light at the end of the tunnel. I don't even want to go there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
So, but
sure.
those are important parts of like really freeing yourself to being and becoming the version that you really want to be in life, I feel,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so what would you say would be like a way that somebody could reach out and work with you um to have a hypnotherapy session with you?
At the moment, a great way to get a hold of me would be through email or
Okay.
Instagram. At uh, my email, should I put it out there now?
We can put it in like the show
Okay,
notes or whatever.
good, good, good.
Yeah.
Cool.
So perfect. Email
Yeah,
or
I'm still
Instagram.
getting started. Like, so I am
Yeah.
not so great with the Instagram, but getting
Okay.
there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I totally get that. I mean, are you still in school or have you graduated?
Yeah, I'm still in school.
Okay.
I completed like the first part of the program, like with the 100 hours and got that certificate. So
Nice.
the rest is still happening.
Cool, yeah. And you're doing hypnosis, but you have like a secondary kind of certification
Um,
you're doing?
it's like the advanced it is the healing arts practitioner with like advanced professional hypnotherapy.
Perfect. Yeah. So that's the same program that I did, and you're probably learning in all these different classes, right? Like different tools and coaching and like work with people
Right.
in different ways and understanding like, you know, I think from my experience is like the tenderness of like the vulnerability part, right? And how to
Yeah.
really hold that sacred container in a way so that other people feel like they can show up in a, more naked sense, so to speak, and
Mhm.
know that they're in good hands and that they're going to be well taken care of, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think what I want to share before we hop off is like from my own experience with Elliot, like I kind of shared at the beginning, this is kind of like full circle, right? We did a hypnotherapy session when he was, or they were, sorry, um, getting their hours in for the certification. And I guess I was their first one, which I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I feel like I literally like remember how I was traveling and going through this portal very easily, very quickly from you can even tell listening to Elliot, they are very um there's like a warmth to their voice where it's slow, it's not fast. It's to be able to be very thoughtful and intentional and there's a lot going like on in the surf under the surface but like everything that goes it's like very hypnotic, right? That's the purpose is that you're feeling like you can safely like just relax, let go. And I was able to do that very quickly. And I met with my guides. Like it wasn't something that like I think we both were kind of curious. What's
Mhm.
going to happen? Where are we going to go? Is this going to work? Um, when you're in that new stage, you don't know what's going to happen. But I felt like I felt connected to you and I felt like just yeah, like from one artist to another, I could also get the sense just looking at your Instagram like that you you know, you're able to like put things out from your mind onto paper. And yeah, so I definitely feel like you have many gifts, Elliot. And I think that your work is really needed right now. And I really do hope that people will connect with you um, for them, but also for you, because I think that you also get to experience yourself, having more experiences with other people and developing that practice so that you can kind of um, see where you want to go with it because I like we said there's a lot of different directions you can go and to see what you're most passionate about working with people on, right?
Yeah, I really love just like providing a space where people will feel safe and excited about doing um hypnosis and it's just really it's really great to be a part of that like as a guide. So yeah.
Yeah, maybe I just had a spark of inspiration. um I'm wondering if you would be open to recording like a 5 minute kind of practice hypnosis. um
Okay.
and like maybe we could attach that somewhere on this podcast so that
Okay.
people could have like a little freebie to do on their own time, right? They can lay down, they can receive the hypnotherapy. um,
Mm.
and maybe you make this one a little bit more general for people on some level like
Okay.
you know, a beginner hypnotherapy session, right?
All
And
right.
then people get to experience it, they get to feel it, and then hopefully that helps them to feel a little bit more comfortable doing something more in depth, like a deeper tissue massage, right? Like
Mm.
go for the full 60-minute because it's going to be amazing. If you love the 5 minute, you're going to love having a full 60-minute session, right?
Okay.
How
Yeah,
does
that
that
would be
sound?
great.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Um, Is there anything else that you want to share about your epic transformation? Like, was there any questions that I didn't ask you that you saw on the list that you really wanted to answer?
Hey, I don't I mean we went over a lot.
We
Uh
did.
yeah. Um, yeah, it's just been, it's all been a journey, but this is wonderful. I'm so happy that you are putting people's stories out there and sharing your experiences. This is wonderful.
Hmm, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Any last messages for maybe like some younger trans folks that might be trans and non-binary folks that might be listening to this?
Um, I would just say it's it's hard squeezing into something like it doesn't fit. No. And yeah,
I love that.
that's
I really like that. Yeah,
that's
that
what came in.
I like that a lot. Well, thank you so much, Elliot. And I just really appreciate you taking the time to reflect and share parts of your journey that have been challenging for you, but also the other parts of, really getting to, honor and become that person in kindergarten that like knew who they were. And I just want to celebrate you for following, that your what your heart truly knew and felt and desired. And yeah, I'm just really grateful to know you as well, and um, that you're here to share this story. So
Thank you. I appreciate you and knowing you. So,
awesome. All right. Well, so I'll probably do like some kind of closer because I haven't made one yet.
oh, okay. Okay. Did you want to stop the
Yeah,
recording?
I'll stop it now.
It takes so much pressure off when